Hopefully, we are working and we are live. Hopefully, anyway. Maybe someone can let me know in the comments because we don't seem to be having much luck with technology at the minute, which is very, very frustrating. He says, "Yes, we are in. Excellent. Maybe for Christmas, I can have someone help me out with help me out with technology. I don't know what's going on. It seems to have been that this mic just magically has decided to start working. So who knows? Who knows? But here we are anyway. That's the main thing. So we've got a brand new high def webcam, and we're using the fancy new shotgun microphone as well. So loud and clear, says Hereford Lad, which is fantastic. Good to see you, mate. I hope you're keeping well. Sam and History Explained. Matthew Yule is in as well. Good to see you, mate. Pete Neal is also alive and kicking in the chat as well, which is excellent. We have John Shanahan in as well, which is excellent. Hopefully, John, hopefully, fingers crossed, your parcel's arrived. Hopefully it has. You know what these couriers are like this time of year. It's a bit of a nightmare. History Explained is straight in with the questions. Says, do I have a World War II collection? I do indeed. I do indeed. And Herefordshire, hello, Jesse. Don't want to skip past you. Herefordshire Regimental Museum says the Viceroy has entered the room. So that is, of course, Mr. Peter Neal. So apologies for those of you who initially joined the live stream a couple of minutes ago. For some unbeknown reason to me, we had an issue with the sound, but we are back alive and kicking. So that's fantastic. And Dave Seals joined us as well, one of our patrons as well. Nice to see you, mate. Who's John? John Shanahan, the subject of episode 10 of the Young Contemptibles podcast, for those who listen to it. But we'll talk about the podcast in the very, very near future, immediate future for that fact. Have I heard of the Suffolk Regiment? I have indeed. I've got a few friends who are in the Suffolk Reenactment Society, portraying the Second World War. Let's have a little couple of catch up with these comments because they are literally coming in thick and fast, which is awesome. And now what we're going to do is we're going to dive straight in with some of the exciting things that we've got to tell you all. So, thankfully, sound, audio is good. That's really, really positive. So the webcam was actually purchased, first of all, fancy new HD webcam, because the one on my laptop is terrible. So there's a bit worse than watching a real poor quality audio or visual for that matter. So we invested a little bit of money in a webcam. It's fairly inexpensive, and it means that we can obviously do better quality live streams. So we will do periodic live streams on YouTube to the general subscribers, but we will also be doing private sort of streams for our patrons as well. But we'll talk about Patreon very, very soon. So we're going to come in to say welcome to everyone. Thanks to all of you who are supporting us. We seem to be gathering real momentum at the moment. So we've had some fantastic feedback from not just the podcast, which Will has mentioned, and he said it's great, learned loads of new stuff. But you know what? It makes it worthwhile, because when people listen to the podcast and they enjoy it, and even when they learn from it as well, that is the main reason why we do the podcast. Because yes, we enjoy doing it, but we want people to learn. We want people to engage with history, and we're trying to do that on as many platforms as possible. So here we are on YouTube. YouTube has really got popular over the past sort of 2 or 3 weeks. We've gone and surpassed 700 subscribers now, which is amazing, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely chuffed to bits with that. And, people are really enjoying our videos. So, yes, we will upload our shorts, as they're called, which is the same videos we put on TikTok. But there's people who are on YouTube who aren't on TikTok, and vice versa. But our main documentary videos will be going on, and indeed they are, on YouTube for all to enjoy. And we'll talk about Patreon shortly, but our patrons do get the benefit of seeing those videos 7 days before everyone else as well. And they also get bonus content as well. So, yes, says Sam K, 700 subs. Yeah, I think we're at about 715 now, which is absolutely awesome. Really, really amazing. We'll talk about TikTok next, because we've got 80,000 followers on TikTok. So we've just hit 80,000 followers. I think we're at 80.5 now, which is crazy. We've had 500 people in a day. John, you've got a spanner, because you are actually an admin on my channel. I created you as an admin. So you can moderate and block people and so forth. So you do have that sort of benefit, if you will, or more to the point, you've got that cross to bear, shall we say? But thank you very much, History Explain. I know that you follow us on TikTok as well. So it's good to see people on platforms. John is also on TikTok as well. And obviously we are here on YouTube, but TikTok is where we started out. So as a brief sort of history lesson, if you will, it was back in January that we set our TikTok channel up. So we're almost a year old. And we set it up because a very good friend of mine, who many of you will know as Fly UK, we'll keep him anonymous for now. He said to me, Steve, you should really set up a TikTok account because people really enjoy all the videos and you're interested in history. And for weeks or even months, I said, no one wants to, sort of be bored to death with me talking about history and the things that I collect and the things that, I get up to. But lo and behold, here we are nearly 12 months later. There's 80,000 of you on TikTok and there's over 700 of you on YouTube. We're on Instagram as well. I think we've got about 1,500 followers or so on Instagram. We don't really post that often on there. It's mainly the stories we put on. But again, it's definitely worth checking our Instagram out because on each platform, you will get little bits of content that aren't on other platforms. So if you follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, follow us on Facebook. Now, we are on Facebook, but if I'm being honest, Facebook to me is a little bit of a dead duck. I don't think that many people really use it anymore. It's certainly nowhere near as popular as TikTok, for instance, but we are on there and we do post on there as well. So it's definitely worth going and have a little nose over on there. So do check our Facebook out as well. A couple of comments to pick up on. 719 says Jesse Wrangle, excellent. That is absolutely superb. So we are growing, we really are, which is awesome. You should do a 1 year Living History UK live stream. We definitely will. I believe that it falls around the middle of next month, and we've got some filming planned for next week, and I'll say next month even, which we'll talk about again a little bit later on. So we're going to be on for about an hour or an hour and a half on this live stream, but I don't for a moment think that you guys are going to be here for the whole duration, and nor would I expect that. For instance, Will's got something much more important to go to, which is dinner. So I can't blame you for that. But we will obviously put this video up so you guys can catch up with it in your own time, and you can listen to it and catch up. But it's things are going really, really good. So we're doing really well on YouTube. That's really starting to fly now. And when we get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, we can start to monetize the channel as well. And monetizing and finance is something we'll talk about very shortly. Now, what I want to do is I want to explain what Living History UK is, because we've kind of we've got to a point now where with all this support, we've thought, okay, we need to push on. We need to push the boundaries and become something bigger and better for everyone to enjoy. So, as a bit of a background to Living History UK, we've talked about how it was set up, but let's talk about the future. Which is ironic because usually we talk about the past, but there we go. So what's the future got in store for Living History UK? I can almost hear you asking through the medium of YouTube. So we're not just a one-man band anymore. We've got a very good friend of mine called Pete Neal, who's actually joined Living History UK, and he's a co-presenter. So you will have seen videos of him on TikTok sporadically, but more so on YouTube. Now, Pete has joined us on a full-time basis, really. He's part of the furniture of Living History UK. He's very much so part of the camp equipment, if you will, the campaign equipment. So with Pete joining us, it frees up a little bit of time my end, which means we can explore other avenues, we can do other things, and we can have, moreover, another person's take on bits of history. And it's someone to crunch numbers with and talk about things with and get an extra opinion, which is really important because, if this channel was just me, it would be very mundane. It wouldn't have diversity or variety in it or any dynamics. So with us having people like Pete come in and join us full time, that's great. We are also going to have a few of mine and Pete's friends join us from time to time as well. So we will have people like Don Blythe will come and join us and talk about certain things, and maybe Jake Brown or John Shanahan in future, who knows. But the door will be open for people who've got a vested interest in history to come and join us and talk about their specialist subjects. And that door will be open for people to come and join us because Living History UK isn't a business. We don't We're not out there to make money or have a big fancy headquarters or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, that would be lovely. But the reason why we exist is because we genuinely want to keep history alive, and we can sum it up into those three words. Now, we keep history alive a number of ways. So myself and Pete, we are living historians, which means that we, will basically put on uniforms that are authentic to the First or Second World War, for instance, amongst many other eras. We'll research it completely, and we'll put as an accurate an impression out there as possible. So we will have the right uniform, the right kit. We'll know how to use it. We'll constantly research it, and we'll always move forward. We'll never get stuck in a rut or, sort of just rest on our laurels in that sense. So we have a really unique angle to sort of delve into the archives of history with that knowledge. Hello, Marty Keir. Do I do World War II US? No, I don't. And someone's doing a bit of bolt action painting. Awesome. Love bolt action. Really, really good. Nice one. So that is essentially kind of what we're striving for. So we are going to be indeed we are, I should say, a sort of community-backed project. So we do that by putting the content together for free. We go to places, we film documentaries, we do it for the love of it, the want of keeping history alive. But these things cost money. It costs us money to go places, to host a podcast. That costs us 35 quid a month. And the video editing software, that costs us about £20 a month as well. So, we have some fixed costs that we'd like to meet. And our objective is to make Living History UK a self-sufficient and self-funding entity. That's what we want it to be. Now, we have the shop. It's worth mentioning the shop, actually, because we've got an absolute plethora of items for sale in the shop. Mainly historic reproductions, but a few new items, such as the Living History UK clothing range. So we have T-shirts and we have hoodies as well, which you can buy and you can wear them with pride to say, I follow Living History UK. Fantastic design on there. And we make a bit of a profit on those hoodies and T-shirts, which the money from anything that we sell, it goes into a pot. And from that pot, we will use it as a bit of a war chest, if you will. And we will go and say, right, we can go to this place because we've got the money to do that. We can pay some extras to do some bits and bobs for us. We can add some effects to some of the filming and things like that. So it just enables us to put better content out there. Worth touching on in the shop. So we have enamel mugs. We have the brown late World War II mugs for sale. Currently out of stock, but we do sell them. The white enamel mugs for First, Second World War British as well. We have the emergency ration tins, which are complete with their weatherproof lacquer, and also the emergency ration chocolate as well for World War II. Very good reproductions. We also have helmet nets. We have scrim nets. We've got a couple of 1907 pattern sword bayonets for sale as well. 50% of the sale of those goes to us. The other 50% goes to the Herefordshire Regimental Museum, which is another passion of mine, to support regimental museums. So there's plenty of ways that you can support us. We've also been given a 1796 light cavalry pattern sabre, and that's for sale on our website at the moment. It's a cracking reproduction, and 100% of the sale of that sabre goes straight to Living History UK. And when someone buys that, it means that we can actually invest in a 4K camera, which means we can start totting up the different camera angles and really improving and moving forward our content. We also have an ebook for sale as well, which is the concise history of the rifle in the British Army. So 1740 to 1840. So it's the background implementation of rifles sporadically in the British Army, right the way through to rifles being general issue to all British troops in 1840, which is really interesting. I've just seen Staffordshire Regimental Museum mentioned. It's great, and I love the videos in the trench. The Staffordshire Regimental Museum is an amazing place. It's my local regimental museum, and I'm always keen to go down there and support them whatever way I can. And it's reciprocated because they massively support Living History UK as well. They let us film there, and indeed we'll be there in January filming as well. But we'll talk about that very shortly. I'm just going to take a quick swig of my drink and try not to spill it on any of this rather expensive recording equipment. So Jesse Wrangle's going to go to the shop. Anyone who wants to go on the shop, it's Living History UK. So that's obviously our name, .co.uk. And we are on Patreon as well. So we'll talk about that shortly because I I know some of you guys who are in chat are already members of our Patreon, so you know full well about the benefits. But there's many people who we want to encourage to sign up to Patreon and support us to keep history alive. We're really keen about that. Very Boris Johnson, that is, isn't it? Very like a politician. Anyway, we don't do politics. So let's talk about the ration boxes. So the 24-hour ration pack, that has been really, really popular for us. That has been our number one breadwinner, if you will. And we've sold. I would say I've put together about 140, maybe 150 of those over the past sort of 8 months. We've sold a large number of those, and they've been really, really, really popular, and people have loved them. Rifleman Moore, as some of you know him off YouTube, I recently sent one to him, and he's actually reviewed it on his channel, and he sang its praises, and he's going to be putting part 2 of that video very, very soon. And we've sold 10 boxes on the strength of that video alone, and we've got more people asking for them. So the future holds, says Dave Seal, making up many ration boxes. I can tell you that for sure. But yes, there's loads of things going on at the moment in terms of that. Now, we're going to talk briefly about the community. So we've talked about, obviously, the background of Living History UK, who we are and what we strive to achieve in the future. Which is, keeping history alive, visiting as many living history groups as possible, going out and capturing stories of veterans, for instance. Now, that's something we mainly do on the podcast, but we will do that in video format as well, where appropriate, it's worth saying. We won't be exclusive to World War II veterans. We are, indeed, Pete Neal is going to be interviewing a veteran of the Vietnam War, which is going to be really interesting. And I've got a couple of interviews lined up with some Special Forces veterans as well, which again is going to be really, really interesting. So on the podcast, just talk about the podcast specifically. If no one's heard of it, it's called the Young Contemptibles podcast. So it's available on Spotify, Amazon, Google, and it's also available on Apple Podcasts as well. And it's completely free to listen to. There's, I think it's 12 episodes up at the moment. The most recent one being the Christmas Truce. Obviously, we put a video out on our, first of all, on our Patreon, but then on our YouTube of the Christmas Truce. And that's been really, really popular. It's had some great feedback, which has been really, really good. So really, really keen about that. But yeah, the podcast has been very, very popular. Many people have been listening to it. It's even entered the top 40 of history podcasts, which I find hilarious. It just really makes me smile whenever someone mentions it or I think of it. It does make me smile, which is, testament to the fact that the community is really supporting what we do. And that is amazing, because the amount of comments I've had on videos over the past couple of days when we put our Christmas message up on TikTok and YouTube, and people wishing us a Merry Christmas and saying they love the YouTube channel. You guys in the chat as well at the moment, many people saying they love this YouTube channel and they really enjoy it. That really makes it really, really worthwhile for us. And I know I speak on behalf of Pete as well as myself, but without you guys enjoying our content, sharing it, liking it, and supporting us, whether it be through the shop or just commenting on videos or sharing them or being even a patron, then, it wouldn't be worth us doing. Because if we made these videos and nobody watched them, that would be soul destroying and it would be a real shame. So the cusp of it is, yes, we want to keep history alive. We've got a massive year planned for next year. But above all else, we just want you guys to enjoy our videos and to use them as an education resource. And that's what we're aiming for. That's all we want. That is it. As I've said before, we are a community-funded project, so we are here solely on the existence of you guys supporting what we do and enjoying it. When it comes to us having to, go, say, to a certain venue, film for the day, buy lunch for the guys who take part, who give their time for free, I hasten to add, we do that on the strength of you guys supporting us. So whether that's through you guys buying something from the shop, even sending us a PayPal donation, which you can do, or supporting us as a patron. So let's talk about Patreon. So Patreon is a website. It's a bit like, so what you do is you pay a monthly fee and you can back a project. So Living History UK can back us from just, I think it's £3.49 at the moment for a month, and you get access to everything. So you back us financially, but we reward you a number of ways. So you'll get your exclusive content. So the aim is every month moving forward is to produce a documentary, a standalone documentary every month. And you guys who are Patreons will choose next month's documentary. So those of you who signed up to Patreon this month, you've already chosen the next month's documentary and what we're doing, what period it is, which is really exciting because Pete and I have got some massive plans for next month, which we'll probably touch on towards the end of this. Now, you'll get access to 7-day priority access to watch our video. So the monthly documentary, if you're a Patreon and you're signed up to it, you will get a 7-day priority access ticket to view that video because you support us. And that's like one of our ways of saying thank you. You'll also get bonus content. So there'll be content that goes up on there, whether it's an ebook, which all our Patreons will receive for free tomorrow as a Christmas present, worth $4.99. So that's a bargain in itself. So you'll receive things like that. There's also digitized versions of training pamphlets from the First World War. So we're aiming to upload one of those every month. So you'll get that completely for free. So it's an absolute bargain. You'll also get private podcasts as well. So if you enjoy the podcast and you want episodes that are just specifically for Patreon, then you need to sign up to the Patreon. That is the best way of getting as much as you can from Living History UK. Now, you'll also get behind the scenes photos as well when we're on set. You'll be the first to hear on Patreon about what it is we're doing next month and what we've got planned. So me and Pete have got a loose plan for next month together, and we will put a post up towards the beginning of next month to enlighten those who are Patreons and enlighten them to say, this is what we're going to be up to next month. This is what to expect, which is really interesting. So, excuse me. You'll also get the updates, the priority updates of the Living History UK Festival. Now, the Living History UK Festival is a Living History festival like no other. So many of us who go to events and take part in events as living historians will be well aware of what it's like in terms of you take part in a battle, the public kind of just come around, don't show that much of an interest. It's very, very pony and plastic in that sense. So what our plan is for the festival next year is we've got quality over quantity. So we've got a number of premier living history groups taking part. So the festival is, as History Explains pointed out, is on the 9th and the 10th of April next year. And it's at Chiltern Open Air Museum. Tickets will be on sale in February. Again, if you're a Patreon member, if you're one of our patrons, you'll be the first to find out when they're up for sale. And you'll be getting all the updates first as well about what's going on. And as a patron, you'll also be in with the chance of winning a pair of wristbands for VIP access to the festival. So you'll have VIP entry completely for free, and you'll have a tour of the site with me, excuse me, me and Pete, so you can see all the groups, and all the displays are going to be immersive displays. So they're not just going to be displays you walk along and have a look at the kit. The guys who are part of the display will actually be doing things, which is going to be really interesting to see. We're not going to have any battles, because battles for World War I, World War II living history just doesn't work. Even for Napoleonic, it's not that great. But there will be drill displays, there'll be arms displays. There'll also be, and I'll just take a quick drink, totally live. There'll also be lectures taking place as well. So we've got people like Ramsey Green and Simon Moore or Rifleman Moore doing lectures. Me and Pete and Jake Brown will all be doing lectures on our chosen subjects. Anyone who knows Laurie Alice Adventures from TikTok, Laurie is going to be doing putting an appearance at the festival, and she'll be doing a lecture on a subject. So it would be a bit like a history lesson, which would be quite cool. We'll also have Zach Pinson, if any of you know him. He will be there as well, which would be really, really cool. So we've got some really great personalities taking part in the festival. So the festival is going to be absolutely awesome. It's really, really going to be good. So what I would do is implore you guys to go over to Patreon. So it's patreon.com/Living History UK. The link should be in the description below. If not, just Google Living History UK Patreon. Or if you go on our Facebook, or you go on our Instagram or TikTok, there is a link tree. Click on that and it will take you to wherever you want to go to, whether it's the website, whether it's the Patreon, whether it's the ration pack you specifically want to go for, or Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. But you're already on YouTube, so you don't need to do that. Of course, Matthew Yule's going to be there at the Living History UK Festival. I'm guessing with the second 95th, but it's going to be a really interesting festival because it is going to be a living history festival like no other. It's not going to be one of these ones where you have food traders and, reenactors walking around with cans of beer or, beef burgers and things like that. It's going to be a living history festival, and it's going to be quality over quantity. We're going to be doing things like recording a podcast when we're there. We'll be doing some live streams. We'll be doing interviews with the people taking part. We'll be doing videos of the displays. And it'll just be a really interesting weekend. And, if you come along and you've got an interest, just a very basic interest in history, there is something for everyone. If you're an ardent history fan and you love history and you really want to get into, the sort of bones of a particular period, worth saying that the premise is the British soldier of the past 200 years. So it spans from the Napoleonic through to Iraq and Afghanistan. Then there is something for everyone. You'll definitely go away from that weekend having learned something, whether you are taking part as a living historian like Matt Yule is with the second 95th, or you're coming along as a punter. You will definitely learn something from it. So you have to buy tickets to go. It's more than likely going to sell out by the way things are looking before the event. So you probably won't be able to pay on the door. But if you're on our Patreon and you sign up on there, you will be the first people to find out when tickets are for sale, and you'll get all the updates as well, which is definitely worth it. And it's worth saying, when you do sign up to our Patreon, you will also get a discount code for our website. So we're going to put a discount code up every month or two on the website, because if you already support us on Patreon, least we can do is to say thank you to you for supporting what we do and give you a little discount off some of the items in the shop, because you support us, we support you, and that's what it's all about. So we've talked about pretty much everything. We've talked about the plans for 2022. We've talked about the festival. We've talked about the podcast, Patreon, all those different platforms. So, guys, if you've got any questions for me, or for Pete, for that matter, because Pete is in the chat, pop them in, fire away. Pop the comment or question, if you will, in the comment section, and we'll do our best to answer it. If you've got any ideas for future, podcasts or for future videos, content, things like that, or any ways that we could raise some funds to help further our project, then fire away, go for it. Or if it's just a general history question, go for it. You're more than welcome. Now, while those questions roll in their millions, I'll briefly talk about next month. So Pete and I are going to be filming a documentary, as we will be every month, and our patrons have chose for us to film a World War One documentary next January. Well, I was going to say next year, but it is next year, isn't it? So we're going to be covering World War One. Now, we won't talk on this live stream about what we're going to be doing. We've kind of decided what we're doing, but we will be telling our patrons first what we're doing, because they're the people who support us. But we've got some really great plans for the documentary next month. It's also worth mentioning we've got an Amazon gift list as well. Now, when I hear Amazon gift list or wish list, I always cringe a little bit. Now, having looked at some of the people I follow, for instance, and looking at their gift lists, a lot of the items that they have on there are kind of like personal wants, if you will. Now, for us, that's definitely not the case. So the items that are on the gift list, they're items that we are going to use. So they will enable us to make better content, and it means that we'll be able to go places. And for instance, we're looking at getting another camera, a 4K camera, and someone's bought us the microphone I'm using now. And the support of Living History UK people in the shop, we've been able to buy a 4K webcam, which means we can improve our content. So when you guys purchase items from the wish list, it supports our projects and are items that we're going to use. For instance, Dave Seal purchased us a 50-litre rucksack, and we put all our equipment in there. When we go out filming, like we did at Staffordshire Museum, all the kit goes in there, and it just makes life a lot easier. So it's a fantastic way for us to kind of support the project. Because as a bit of a recap, just for anyone, excuse me, anyone joining, what Living History UK's aim is. So our mission is to keep history alive. That's what our goal is. We love history. Yes, we're history geeks. We're not going to deny it for 1 minute. We love talking about the evolution of the British soldier over the past 400 years, for that matter. Go all the way back to English Civil War. We will go back to the Wars of the Roses as well, because that's a really interesting period as well. First really English Civil War, if you will. So with all of you guys supporting what we do, it just enables us to do what we want to do in terms of keeping history alive. We can put great content out there in terms of we can put small documentary videos together. When we go to museums, we can record podcasts. We can travel to meet veterans and capture their stories for the podcast, and also on film as well. So it really does enable us to get out there, to create new content, and really push the boundaries of what Living History UK has got to offer, because that is what we're all about. So Chiltern Open Air Museum is indeed where the Living History UK Festival is. So it's on the 9th and 10th of April. If you want to find out more about it, we do have videos on YouTube, on TikTok as well. We will be announcing a few more groups, probably after Christmas now, I should think. Don't want to ruin anyone's Christmas Eve or anything like that. But there's definitely loads of exciting things coming your way. Our Patreon members tomorrow are going to get their Christmas present, which is a free ebook worth $4.99, written by yours truly. And that is the evolution of the rifle in the British Army between the years of 1740 and 1840. So that's the first real. 1740 was where they started toying with the idea of using rifles, and they were sporadic, kind of in use on the Bradbrook expedition. Then they fell out of favour, and they came back with the 1776 pattern. Of course, we've got the 1800 pattern, the infantry rifle, or the Baker, as many people know it. And then we end up with, the Enfield rifle muskets and so forth. And we go, obviously, to that point where, the British Army is wholly armed with rifles. So it's an amazing evolution in that 100 years. It really, really is. And don't be fooled. It's not 500-600 pages long. It's a concise history. It's got some fantastic photographs in it as well, from Leeds Armories, which I purchased a few years back. When you guys, buy items from us, or you support us on the Patreon, because that's what we're really trying to grow at the moment, because we've got 18 people on our Patreon, which is really, really good. It's amazing. And we're getting nearly £30 a month from that. And our aim is to get to 20 patrons by the end of the year, because when we do, that means that the podcast pays for itself, because the podcast doesn't earn us any money. We have to actually pay to put the podcast out there. So it costs us about £35 a month to host it. So if you do enjoy the podcast, yes, you can send us a PayPal donation, but moreover, go and sign up to our Patreon, because that is where all the action happens. That really is where the action is. You'll be the first to hear about everything. You'll get exclusive content, bonus content for the matter, discount codes, freebies, behind the scenes information. You'll take part as well in polls as well. So it means that for next month's documentary, the following month's documentary, you can vote on what subject you want us to cover. So you're shaping our future content, but moreover, you can be safe in the knowledge that yes, you're getting all this fantastic content as well by paying a small fee, but the money that we generate from our Patreon, it goes into an account. Now, with that sort of war chest, yes, we pay for the podcast, or we pay for our video editing software, which we pay on a monthly basis. But it means that we can put some fuel in the tank. We can travel to a museum, or we can travel to certain battlefields, for instance. We can put it towards new kit. There's loads of things we can do with it, such as on the last film shoot, we didn't have enough money to be able to pay the guys who took part. They did it on their own goodwill, but we bought them a meal deal each, which, yeah, okay, some people might laugh. It's only £3.50. But you guys who support us, you guys paid for that. And it's the least we can do for these people who are not just giving up their day for free, but they buy all the equipment and they also travel there as well. And it costs some money in fuel. And fuel isn't cheap. So if we can employ you guys to support us, even if you just for argument's sake, I don't know, just subscribe to us on YouTube. But if you can, join us on Patreon. Treat yourself to a Christmas present rather than someone else. Go and sign up from as little as £3.49. There's loads of tiers available. We've even got a slot for a field marshal as well, where you'll join us for a podcast episode. You'll get a free ration pack. You'll get your names in credits and so forth. But we'll catch up with some of the comments. So, John Shanahan's on Japanese whiskey. That sounds dangerous. Pete Neal says he's looking forward to filming Wars of the Roses. I am as well. It's going to be very, very good. Quickly, Sam K. Militaria is off. Thanks ever so much for your support, mate. I know you watch plenty of our videos and you enjoy them, and that really, really does mean the world to us. So thanks ever so much. And keep up the great work as well, because you and your mates are doing a fantastic job yourselves keeping history alive. And it's nice to see the younger generations being interested in history and moving forward and getting involved and enjoying it and learning from it as well. So good on you. Good on you. Yeah, Wars of the Roses is going to be brilliant to film. English Civil War as well, the second English Civil War, if you will, is going to be very interesting to film. I'm really looking forward to that because we're going to do a series on that. It's going to be, we're going to go from 1642 through to 1651. We're going to go to as many battlefields as we can in between, explore them from the air as well. Fly UK, he's going to take us up in the air and we're going to go up and fly over battlefields. We'll have the drone as well. So we'll be able to put the drone up. Get a bird's eye view. We'll have the 4K camera. We'll have, two 4K cameras for that matter. And it's going to be really, really interesting. Check out the podcast with John Shanahan and see what it was like to be a side of this border during the Troubles. So John Shanahan is from the Republic of Ireland, so south of the border. And he served in the Irish Army. And John recorded a podcast with us. So I think it was episode 10 a couple of weeks ago it went out now, if my memory serves me well. Go listen to it. It's really interesting. So Jake interviewed John, and John regales us with some of the stories and experiences that he had while he was with the Irish Army. That podcast is called The Young Contemptibles. That's available on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And John also says we can stay with him when we go over as well. And we'd love to come over because it'd be great to do like Battle of the Boyne and all that kind of era as well. So there's plenty of scope for us. Again, maybe in a year's time, we'll have a number of people on Patreon supporting us. We'll be monetized, excuse me, on YouTube, and maybe and hopefully we'll be over 100k on TikTok by then as well. And I'll pick up on that point just in a moment as well. Marching songs are great, actually. It says last April bought a replica Mark II Brody from Soft, but the liner was awful, felt rock solid. Was it like this or just a poor liner repro? So I've actually purchased one of those Mark II lids from there, and it is a poor quality reproduction. Now, there are some fantastic original liners out there, with the caveat of, yes, they need to be treated correctly. If it's leather, put a little bit of leather feed or something on it so it doesn't dry and crack. It's actually cheaper in most occasions to buy an original liner. So definitely worth exploring that. I think some of the best repros are probably What Price Glory. But don't hold me to that. Don't hold me to it. Screw at the top was surrounded by some dodgy black rubber, and that was the root of the issue. Yeah, that sounds like a soft one. It does. Just have a little look at. Let me see if I missed any. I don't want to miss anyone's comments, you see, because I don't want to be rude. But yeah, if you guys have got any questions, fire them away. We'll do a recap shortly, and then we'll wrap up. We'll be putting a video up on our YouTube tomorrow, which is a tour of a World War II pillbox with me, which was filmed last week. Our patrons have already seen it. They're probably bored to death of it by now, but you'll be able to see it on YouTube tomorrow. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And I was just about to mention something, and yes, 100k. So when we get to 100,000 followers on TikTok, which is possibly going to be January. Now, there's a bit of a background to it. I've said this a few times, but I'll never get bored of saying it. Now, you will see many people who see themselves as a personality on TikTok or an influencer, if you will. And when they get to a milestone like 50,000 or 100,000, they'll stand there with a balloon and a cake, and they'll say, "Oh, aren't I great? Aren't I fabulous? You know, I've got 100,000 followers." Now, I am not egotistical by any stretch of the imagination. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm just down to earth. I don't like fame or anything like that, and nor do I seek it. I used to be in a band which was very popular in the Midlands, and loads of people always used to come and speak to me in my local town and say, "Hello, Steve." That was many years ago, but I'm that sort of person who could never cope with fame. It's not my bag at all. So rather than standing there like some of these people do when I get to a milestone like 100,000 with a balloon and all that nonsense, I thought, yeah, we're not doing any of that because it's ridiculous. It looks pathetic. So let's do something useful. Now, when we got to 10,000 followers, we did a 10-kilometer charity hike, and we set out to raise 150 pound for SAFA, which is the Sailors, Soldiers, Airmen's Families Association. Now, when we get to 100k, actually, sorry, going back to that, when we did the 10-kilometer march, we set out to raise 150 quid, but we actually raised 1,100 pounds, which was awesome, and we did it in full World War II kit as well, which was brilliant. And that is how we marked getting to 10,000 followers. So when we get to 100k, no, we're not doing 100 kilometers before any smart Alex say. We're actually going to do penny fan, and we're going to try and do it in World War One or World War II kit. And we're going to try and get as many of you guys from the community to come and join us, take part and raise money for SAFA. And we're going to try and just raise as much money as possible. We're not going to set a figure, but we're just going to try and raise as much money as possible for SAFA, for a fantastic forces charity. And that is what we're planning to do. So by following us on TikTok, you'll drive us towards that 100k, and it will mean that you will support us, but moreover, you'll support a forces charity. So there we go. Ben Hale, I recognise your name from the shop. So that leads very neatly into saying any new products coming in 2022. Well, I'll be honest with you, I don't think we really have that much coming in 2022. There might be a couple more items. It depends. What do people want? That's probably the easiest way of saying it, because it's always been, we put new items up when people say that they specifically want something, like the emergency ration tin or cap comforter. So we found some and we put them on the website. So if there's anything in particular that you want, let us know. We've been really lucky because we've had people donate items to us. We've had someone donate some swords to us, which we've sold. Sword bayonets as well. We've got 2 of them left. If anyone wants them, they're only $39.99. Half the sale goes to Herefordshire Regimental Museum to help them keep history alive. And the other half goes to Living History UK to help us do the same. But we've had people like Pete Neal. You know, he donated a hypo hood and some iodine ampules and some other bits and bobs for us to sell, and said, you know, whatever it makes, put it towards the project, which is amazing. You know, the sense of community and the amount of people who support in what we do is genuinely incredible. It's a word that's overly used. People just say, "Oh, that's incredible," but it is outstanding. You know, you guys are awesome. So if there's any new products that you want, let us know, because if we can get them, we'll only sell them if they're good reproductions. We won't sell anything that's substandard. I'd quite like to get some tea ration tins in and look at supplying them with World War II tea, compo tea powder. That'd be awesome. And John Shanahan said he'll come over for Penny Fan as well for the crack. It'll be really good. It'll be great. And Pete says John's interview is episode 10. So yeah, episode 10 of the podcast, if you want to listen to John Shanahan's dulcet tones. So the next podcast episode is out on Monday. Those of you who are our Patreon subscribers will know what that episode is on Saturday. In fact, no, it'll actually be tomorrow. We might have to put that up because obviously it's Christmas Day. Or we might just schedule the post and it goes up. But as ever, our patrons are going to be the first people to find out about what we've got going on, because it's the least we can do to reward you, because you support us. You put a little bit of money to us each month. And the reason why we're doing Patreon is because it kind of gives us steady income. We've only got just under £30 a month at the moment, which might not sound a lot to people, but to us, it's everything. It pays for the podcast because, yes, we love keeping history alive and we love going out and making these documentaries and seeing our friends and researching it and going to some of the, spectacular places that we go to. We really enjoy that. But, if we're having to pay for it all out of our own pocket, it can, obviously be a bit of an issue for some people, for instance. So if we can have the community support us in our endeavors, then, brilliant. And it's a way of you guys, dare I say, showing us that you enjoy what we do, and it encourages us. It really does. And do you know what? Between you and I, it actually brings a bit of focus as well, because we did sort of touch about doing a Patreon early this year, and various things happened, and we didn't really get the traction, and it kind of fell by the wayside. But over the past month, Pete and I have talked, and we've reinvigorated it. We've given it CPR and brought it back to life, and we've got some massive plans for next year. We've talked about, we want to do a series on the English Civil War, which would be really cool. We're going to do some War of the Roses, bits and bobs as well. We'll do battlefield tours. We'll do podcasts. We've got the Living History UK Festival. So we'll be doing various bits and bobs from there. And it'll be our Patreons, who are the people who find out first what we're doing, because you guys support us. And it also means that you guys shape what we do, because you'll actually take part in a poll every month to decide what we do next month. And yeah, Pete Neal's heel on his boot fell off on the final jaunt up the hill. Just before we got to the final jaunt, the heel fell off his boot, which was really funny, but I can imagine it was really annoying for Pete. But yeah, in fact, a pair of ammo boots is something I'm going to be purchasing, hopefully with some Christmas money. I'm going to look at getting myself some Lennons, I think, because I actually do size 13. So I'm going to treat myself to a pair of Lennon boots, which is really quite exciting. So there we go. So what we'll do is we'll do a bit of a rundown. We'll do a 5-minute rundown of everything that we wanted to talk about. So as a quick recap, we wanted to mention our YouTube, first of all, because this is what we're on. If you didn't know, we've smashed through 700 subscribers. We're on the march to 1,000. That is incredible, because over the past couple of weeks, our subscribers have really gone up. We've had some accounts with even 350,000 followers and subscribers comment and say that they really enjoy our content, which is amazing. It's really, really good. And there's going to be plenty more of it coming your way. Of course, our Patrons will be the first people to get that content, but you guys will see it in due course. So it's definitely worth following us and you know, sort of charting our journey for sure. Now, we've also got TikTok as well. So we've got 80,500, I think it is, as of about an hour ago. People who follow us on there, which is absolutely insane. We've really shot up from about 30,000. So we've gained 50,000 followers on TikTok over the past couple of months, which has been awesome. People have been really digging the content on there, which again is awesome. Really, really, you know, thankful to each and every one of you who don't just subscribe to us on there, but people who, you know, subscribe to us on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook too. Marching songs are great. Says, could you do a video on how to properly apply scrim to a Brody? That's a really good idea, actually. I might do a short video on that, because there is, if we're talking World War II, I'm sure we are, by the sound of it. There is a specific pamphlet, a fieldcraft pamphlet, which I will put up on our Patreon. And I'll do a video on it. It'll be like a tutorial. And it'll be to the manual. And it'll be a case of putting a Hessian on, putting a scrim net over the top, tying it up, and then putting the string through, and then applying the scrim to it as well, which will be really, really interesting. So that is a good tutorial video for us. I like that idea a lot. You should come onto the planning team. We need all the help we can get, but it's worth saying we do have one helmet scrim net, an authentic two-tone small scrim net for Brody helmets available in our shop. So do go and take a look at that as well. Do 1982 Falklands War. We will. It's on the agenda. So Jake Brown, one of our friends, is a massive fan of the Falklands War. I actually find the Falklands War really interesting. I think it's the only period post-World War II that I'd actually look at maybe doing as a living historian. But that is definitely a subject we will be doing. And again, you know, if you want to put ideas our way, definitely sign up to our Patreon, because you guys, you know, you can shape our future content. And yes, I knew someone would say that, and it would be you, Dave Seal, pulling your leg, of course. The first Civil War would have been King Stephen, I think. Yeah, I think you're right. Obviously, Magna Carta and so forth. Yeah, and King John and Stephen and all that sort of period. I'm sure it will be that, thinking about it. But yeah, in broader terms, the British Civil Wars, as I call it, will be what many people know as the English Civil War. But yeah, we will be doing the Wars of the Roses as well. Maybe we will go back to you know, the reign of King Stephen, and even John and the Barons, maybe. John Shanahan, as ever, on point. So I was going to help you with the Falklands, if you like, Steve. That'd be amazing. That'd be really amazing. That'd be really, really cool. But yeah, things are really good. So continuing the recap, anyone who doesn't know what we're about, you just forward onto this live stream. My name's Steve. I set up Living History UK back in January this year. We've got Pete Neal on board now as well. We'll have other people dipping in and out and helping support Pete and I with various content that we're putting together. Our goal, simple as this, in 3 words, is to keep history alive. And that encapsulates exactly what we're about. We love British military history, we're fascinated by it. We've got a wealth of knowledge and experience and a huge appetite to learn more from whoever we can and from wherever we can. We want to make as much content for people to use, to enjoy, but also to use as an educational tool as well, moving forward. So people can kind of come to Living History UK and say, what did a British soldier carry in his haversack on the 6th of June, 1944? And we can say, here's the video. There you go. There's everything he carried. That's authentic. That would be, that is what we are endeavouring to achieve. It's also worth saying, as a recap, we've got our shop. On our shop, we've got some fantastic items. We've got enamel mugs. We've got 24-hour reproduction ration packs. We've got iron rations. We've got berets, World War II pattern berets, that is, helmet nets, scrim nets, cap comforters, emergency ration chocolate, emergency ration tins. We've got 1796 light cavalry sabres for sale on there at the moment. We've got iodine ampules. We've got dry ration bags for the First World War as well. E-books, World War II, original World War II, that is, chevrons. We have sword bayonets for sale. We have literally everything. Go on to livinghistoryuk.co.uk and bear in mind, when you purchase from the shop, you don't just purchase a fantastic reproduction item, or in some cases, original item. You help support us because we make a small profit on the items on our website. That money goes into a pot, and it means we can pay for our video editing software and our podcast hosting, which are our fixed costs each month. We can put a bit of fuel in the car, travel places, put a video together, buy some new equipment, upgrade the content and quality of our content as well, and add more content to our channel as well. So whether that's private podcasts on our Patreon, sign up to our Patreon from as little as £3.49. You get loads of benefits of being a Patreon member. It has to be said. You guys are really, really lucky who sign up to it. You get exclusive content. You get priority access to our monthly documentaries. You'll get bits of bonus content, behind the scenes footage, private podcast discounts in our shop as well. You'll get freebies every month as well. So you'll get things like original training pamphlets digitized every month. Those of you who sign up as patrons, tomorrow your Christmas present lands. So you will be getting a copy of the Concise History of the Rifle in the British Army, which was written by me a couple of years ago. And you'll get that for free. It's worth $4.99. So there you go. You're saving some money already. You'll be the first to hear about the Living History UK Festival as well. So any updates on that will go out on our Patreon before anywhere else. You also help to shape future content. So by participating in the monthly poll, you can choose what the following month's documentary subject will be. So whether that's, say, English Civil War or British Civil War even, Wars of the Roses, World War II, Falklands War maybe, World War I, Napoleonic, you get the idea. You take part and you choose. The community shapes our future content in that sense. But more than anything else, Living History UK is not a business. We don't make a profit. It costs us money to run. I can guarantee you that. But we love history and it's a massive passion of ours. So if you can support us, please do. You can donate to us on PayPal. You can simply just subscribe to us, comment on our videos, share them with people. Go on to our TikTok and support us on there. But if you can, sign up to our Patreon from just £3.49 a month. It's an absolute bargain. And it gives us a little bit of a kitty to work with. We can improve what we're doing. And by all accounts, the guys who've signed up on there really enjoy what we do. And you'll also get some live streams as well. So I'll be doing a live stream on Patreon next week. And it'll be on there where once Pete and I finalised it, of course, where I'll talk about what we're doing in terms of the documentary for next month, because they're the people who've helped shape it. We've got the idea and we're going to put it to them and say, this is what we're doing. This is what you can expect next month. People can interact with us and say, yes, we love this. Can you do that? Interested to see this and learn about that. that'll be really, really, excuse me, interesting. So all it leaves me to say is thanks ever so much, guys, for listening. I will save this video and upload it to our YouTube for everyone to enjoy, just in case you've missed any of it or you want to catch up with anything. Thanks ever so much for supporting us. The link is in the description of the video to go to our Patreon. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, TikTok, of course, as well. And yeah, go out there, enjoy our videos, enjoy our content, listen to the podcast. All we ask is that people enjoy what we do, and hopefully you guys will learn something from it, because above all else, we just want people to learn, and we want our passion for history to come through and ignite something inside of you guys and think, that's really interesting. I want to know more about that, or I want to go there and see what it's about. Or actually, the Living History UK Festival on the 9th and 10th of April next year at Chiltern Open Air Museum sounds absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to go along and I'm going to have a little look around, learn something. And, you know, if you guys see me, you see Pete or any of the other lads who you recognise off videos, come and say hello, talk to us. Very approachable, very friendly, and we'll talk to anyone about history. So there we go. So on that note, all I'm going to do is wish you guys a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you all for your support over the past 12 months. We'll be 1 year old in January. We'll do a live stream then as well. But go and lose yourself in the world of Living History UK. There's plenty on offer. There's always something you can learn from the videos. We cover many, many periods. And all it leaves me to say is thanks for watching. Until next time, keep history alive.